While I'm waiting on my Clecos to get here, I decided to go ahead and work on the Aileron Bellcrank assemblies that go on the end of the outer nose rib. So what I need is some 4 pieces of 3/4 angle made out of 60/61 25,000. So cut some strips out, just simple as marking the center line, and then we'll bend it up. There's the 4 of those. They're mounted on, they'll be on like this. One there with the Bellcrank in the middle. Next up on the Aileron Bellcranks is the little reinforcement braces that go from these angles that we'll be using over to the spar web. They're drawn full size on the plan, so I just copied it onto paper, transferred it over to some 20,000 sheet. We'll clean that up and make total of 4 of them. They're different top and bottom, but the only difference is the way you bend them. Okay, we have the 4 little reinforcement braces built. Part there's bent up to hook to the spar web, bent there as a reinforcement. Got 2 tops, 2 bottoms of them. Then I've been working on the nose rib here. I cut notches in the fold there to run these pieces in so they'll lay flat. Spaced them out according to the plans. Got a 3/16 hole here for the actual pivot. And then these will mount like this, reinforcing that hole and mounting onto the spar web. Right now it showed 1 rivet in each spot, so I'm going to go ahead and rivet this piece on. Probably go ahead and get the rib back on the plane, get it squared up, get the brace pieces riveted on to the nose piece, and then I'll probably just leave them Clecoed to the spar web. I had a viewer wanted a close-up of the notches I made to mount these outer ribs onto the wing. And I just cut it back there in the corners, left plenty of meat for the rivets. Shined it up, and that little notch clears the attachment fitting. And there's the notches. Okay, we've got the reinforcement bracket on there. I've just got it squeeze clamped onto the rib. Went ahead and squared it up with the reinforcement here. Drilled and Clecoed on the bottom. We'll do the same to the top one. Then we'll square the rib up and drill down over here. 3 rivets there, where on each one as it goes through there, and then 3 rivets here along with the bolt for the pivot. Okay, squared the rib up. Drilled 2 holes in the top, 2 holes in the bottom there. So now I can pull the whole rib off. Leave these on, go ahead and drill the pivot holes, the 3rd rivet hole there, deburr everything, and go ahead and finish weld all of this, except for where it goes on to the spar web. Okay, got that little bit done. Got it all riveted in there. That makes a nice stiff mount for the Aileron Bellcrank. See how I did the rivets there, aimed them out. I just wanted to make sure that when I put the crank in the middle there, that there's no interference between the bulge part of the rivet. I don't know that there would be, but I hate to find out there was later. And then that's just Clecoed on there. Whenever I go through and actually rivet the ribs onto the spar, I'll go ahead and finish riveting that. So now just need to do this to the other side. Well, I unfortunately screwed up. Can't emphasize how much you need to double, triple, and quadruple check all your measurements. The measurement from the bottom of the crossbar here to the bottom of the rib is supposed to be, I put it at 2.688 which is what the plans call for. Don't figure it's got to be right to the thousandths. But the problem was I didn't look at the plans right, and the distance is not from the bottom of the rib to the edge of the brace here. It is to the top of the brace. So that puts the whole assembly 3/4 of an inch too tall. And I don't have any idea how much difference that'll make, but you've got a rod that goes from here over to your control stick, and then you'll have another rod going from here back to your aileron, and I don't want the angles to be off. So, be taking that back off and moving it down. Not a big deal, just have a few extra 1/8 inch holes here and there. But it's just annoying that I messed that up. Well, as annoying as it was for me to have done that, it wasn't hard to fix. Just dropped it down. Got a couple of extra holes there, and I did have to trim a little more of the flange there off. But that piece is riveted up and down on there, so it's not going anywhere. A couple extra holes there. The extra holes in the spar web, that won't be a problem. The one thing I did have to do was I trimmed all of the flange off the front here on the nose rib, but since I had a couple extra holes, I put one more extra hole and I put a piece of angle on the back to stiffen that back up like it should be. So I think that'll work just fine. I am really happy though that I didn't make the same mistake twice. That's one reason I always go back to the plans. You know, I'm building, the only difference between these is they're on opposite sides, so I could have just done what I did the first time, but I went back and studied the plans a little more, and it was like, wait a minute, that measurement was supposed to be to here, and then I'd come around here and checked it, and it's like, yep, I messed up. So yeah, keep going back to the plans. So yeah, looking at the plans a lot, studying the plans, good idea. Now back to the other side. Second side is done, and done correctly the first time, which I definitely recommend. Even though it's not that hard to fix some mistakes like that, right the first time is still better. Well, I got my clecos in, so next video, we're going to be working on the lower skin. Until then, thanks for watching.